A good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. Good morning on the Western time zone, the Central time zone. Those who are following us from Israel, Europe, and parts abroad, we want to wish you a good evening. Well, here in the States, it's the 7th day of the war, in Israel already beginning the 8th day of the war. And Major General Nadav Padan is going to give us not only an update, but really an analysis and insight, and as he always does, to provide a context in terms of what's happening with the war against Iran.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you, Steve. First of all, we have to remember that although everybody is focusing on Iran today, we are still dealing with multi-arenas challenging the IDF. And the war in Gaza continue. We just lost 3 amazing soldiers the last 4 days. And today, this morning, there were a huge maneuver and attack at the area of Jabalia and close to Khan Younis to deal with the attempt of Hamas to rebuild themselves in those areas. So there is an ongoing war in Gaza Strip while we're all focusing on what's going on in Iran. Not to mention that the war continues all over the border of Israel, the border with Lebanon, although we have a ceasefire agreement there, and the same thing in Syria. While we're fighting against Iran doing everything that they can to re-recruit their proxies to become part of this war, and that includes Hezbollah, and that includes their proxies, the Palestinian proxies, not only in Gaza, but also in Judea and Samaria. And they're using the access to Judea and Samaria through Jordan. So this morning we are dealt with an attempt to smuggle ammunition and knowledge to the area of Samaria from Jordan. So the war is not only a multi-arena war, but it's a multi-arena war that's run by the Iranian. So while we're dealing with the Iranian and everybody monitoring the nuclear facility in Iran, what's going on every day there, we have to remember the Iranians still have 3 components in their strategy. And the first one is the proxies. And we're still dealing with it on a daily basis while everybody focuses about what's going on in Iran. About the Iranian war, we have to remind ourselves that is a war, and something in this phenomena, or some component in this phenomena, are not really predictable, and some part of it under full control. But the thing that I can promise you, that the friction, both sides, going to continue. So if somebody have in mind kind of an Hollywood war with the amazing surprise of the Mossad and the Air Force, and then everything collapsed, that's not the story. The Iranians still have a huge arsenal of ballistic missiles and drones and other assets, and we are facing it on a daily basis. Tonight, we face another launch of barrage of 25 ballistic missiles, and some of the missiles were the most sophisticated missile that the Iranians have in their arsenal, the Khamashar and the Jasil. And by the way, we have all the reason to believe that the use and the warhead that's been launched over the city of Tel Aviv, a cluster warhead, which is, to remind ourselves, not legal. Cluster warhead is a warhead that's sprayed to a multi-number of bombs, and that creates a huge damage. We also faced tonight a direct hit at the main hospital of Beersheba, Soroka, and in those hours, Soroka and the Ministry of Health are dealing with distribution of hospitalized patients to hospitals across the country. The damage there is significant damage. It's blocked significant part of the hospital from operating, while Israel keep the operation in Iran. As we spoke before, the goal is to destroy the strategic ability of Iran, the nuclear facility, and ballistic missile abilities. To doing that, there is a ongoing two operation. One is to secure the state of Israel, which divided to two efforts. One is the missile defense system, with the help of the U.S. CENTCOM and with all the layers that we all spoke about, and we know the Iron Dome and the David Slings and the Arrow and the American THAAD and our other Air Force platforms. So far, with huge success, by the way, although we faced pretty damage attack last night. When it comes to drones, the Iranian tried to launch over 1,200 drones so far. Only 210 of them penetrate the border of Israel, and 0 hit the target, which is 100% success. When it comes to the ballistic missile, generally speaking, we have 90% interception, which is amazing, but it still leaves few thousands that hit the ground in Israel. And last night, we wasn't reached to those kind of percentage. We had only 80% success intercepting the missile, and therefore the damage is so when it comes to the other effort of this operation to prevent the Iranian from launching ballistic missile toward Israel, we're trying to push the launching area of the Iranian from the western border between Iran and Iraq deep into the country, so they could use different kind of missile which they don't have in huge capacities. And when it comes to a missile that have the range of over 1,000 miles, they have only few thousands of them. And if we push them to the center of Iran, from the area of Hamdan and Karamashe and Bushehr to the area of Karaj, Natanz, Isfahan, they'll have less ability to use the big arsenal of the Shihab 3. By the way, Shihab 3, to the eldest guy of us, it's a version of Qassam A and B that we saw during the war against Iraq. And they have an upgrade of this Shihab 3 that called Ahmad, that his range is 700 Ks. And the missile that they used last night, the Karmashah, the Khabar, and Jasil, have a range of 2,000 and more, and also have this cluster warhead that we faced yesterday, and accuracy system, what we call the MARV, which allow them to deal with the jammers and attempt of Israel to intercept the missile on the way down to the atmosphere and hit the target. Israel is known about all those technology and got ready to welcome it. When it comes to those more advanced missile abilities in lower percentage, as you can see yesterday, around 80%, but still we have to remind ourselves that the arsenal is not endless. And when it comes to advanced missiles, the arsenal is a few thousand, not few hundred, like they have when it comes to the Shihab and the short-range missiles. We also have to remember that although they have thousands of ballistic missiles, they don't have thousands of launcher. When it comes to launcher, we believe that at the beginning of the war that they have a little less than 400, and up to the what the IDF published today, they have all the reason that they destroy 70% of them, and therefore we don't see those kind of barrage that we saw at the very beginning of the war of 100, 150 missiles. That's they have two reasons for it. First of all, we push them to the center of Iran, and the second, we're hunting them, and they don't have the same amount of launcher. When it comes to those long-range missiles, most of them, but the Sajil, using liquid fuel, which force them to do a long preparation. It takes like an hour or 40 minutes to prepare the missile to be launched, and that's creating an opportunity for the IDF to hunt it. And that's another reason that we reduced dramatically the amount of missiles that they launch in each barrage toward Israel. When it comes to the nuclear facility, we'll keep digging into the strategic bases and the factories that involve in those processes. We have to remember that everybody, speaks about Natanz and Bordeaux and the most famous nuclear enrichment facility, but we're speaking about hundreds of bases that deal with different components of the producing system. Only at the area of Tehran, we have over 30 bases that takes some part of this process of creating a nuclear bomb, from creating fuel for ballistic missile to developing warhead to do researches to provide mixer that change gas to solid and so far and so on. And Israel dealing with a lot of layer of this produced system, and to judge the success of the IDF and the Air Force in that case just by counting the most famous enriched places, it's wrong. Israel already succeeded to win a lot of time for Israel and for the Western, or I would say free world, to deal with the nuclear weapon of the Iranian. We block significant part of the producing system, and the success is huge. The success is huge because the IDF and the Mossad created a situation that no one have in mind before the war. After 2 days, they create the ability to fly all over Iran. So it's not like it's been described at the press, like there is an highway between Tel Aviv and Tehran. That's not the case. The IDF still fighting every day to create the ability for the Air Force to fly over Tehran. Yes, we fly with thousands of jets over Tehran, but while we're doing so, there is a lot of assent of the intelligence, of the Mossad, of the Air Force that create this air superiority. And you could see, 2 days ago, that anti-aircraft missile took down one of our drones, which means, and remind ourselves that they still have a significant amount of arsenal of missiles and radars, and not to speak about low-tech cannon that could, with the right luck, could hit the drones or even a jet. So the effort to create this air superiority continue parallel to the effort to defend the state of Israel. So there is an ongoing effort 24/7 to protect the state of Israel, to create a freedom of operation in Tehran. While doing that, the other accent of the operation try to dig into the strategic asset in Tehran. Our wish and to our belief, we can end this war, this operation, with preventing Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, from destroying the trust and the respect that the Iranian had in the Middle East, and therefore block them from operating and spreading their proxies all over the Middle East. Even their old proxies like Hezbollah and like the Shia militia in Syria and Iraq are not that satisfied with what they see, and as you can see, they're not taking part of this war, and they have all the reason not to. And it's not going to influence only what's going right now during the war. It's going to influence our future and our ability of the Iranian to spread their radical agenda in the Middle East. So by preventing the Iranian, which is an evil regime, from getting nuclear facility and nuclear weapons, more specifically, and to operate with proxies all over the Middle East, we are allowing the Middle East a better future. So regardless, the other questions that are on the table, even what the IDF achieved till today allowed us to offer the Middle East different future. Different future mean, by the way, motivate Arab modest country to continue with the idea of the Abraham Accord. Countries like Saudi Arabia that see what we're doing in Iran right now and what's going on in the Middle East, and other could be part of the phenomena of Abraham Accord, and we can offer a better Middle East. And a better Middle East means stability for the world economy and the world as a whole, because we're speaking about the part of Earth that connect between Asia, Africa, and Europe, and play significant part in the strategic and the economy of the US and the world. When it comes to the question that stand right now in front of the president of the US, I must say that when you listen to the news, you get the wrong idea that the main discussion at the US between the group of American First and the other is whether America should become part of the war, and they judge it through the security of the American bases and the American soldier in the Middle East. I have all the support and all the love and all the respect to the American soldier at the Middle East. I really have, but it's not a strategic question. The strategic question is what kind of role the US want to play in the Middle East. And it's a really, really huge dilemma that stands right now in front of the president of the US. From one hand, he can become part of the active operation, provide Israel with those bombs that can penetrate into the bunker of Iran when they're hiding their nuclear enrichment facilities. And at the same time, on the other hand, he will lose, or America gonna lose, the ability to be the negotiator, the deal maker, the one that create the closure to this war. Or they can leave Israel by themselves, keep supporting Israel, defending itself, and providing ammunition and supporting the international window for Israel to keep on what we're doing right now, and take the leadership of creating kind of a closure to this operation. And then this operation won't last forever. The war against Iran, having consideration that the radical regime will stay, will continue. But this operation gonna end in few days or few weeks, not more than that. And if I have to wrap it up, I would say three things. First of all, it's a war. In war, you have ups and downs. We cannot judge the result of the war by the last attack toward Israel last night. Will still have challenge in the near few days, in the near future, and we will have to suffer from those attacks to allow the Israeli Air Force keep digging and keep what it's doing in Iran. Generally speaking, we're winning. We create a situation that nobody believed that we can do. We're flying and controlling Iran. Controlling the air of Iran means that we are the one that actually decide if the people of Iran could stay in this neighborhood or not. If a jet from Iran could fly and move diplomat from Iran to other country or not. And that's a big deal. The Iranian regime under a lot of pressure right now, and they're looking desperately to end this war. And the last thing is creating a diplomatic situation, which means to recruit the free world, the Western world, to become part of it. Not necessarily physically to send jet and fight with us, but to make sure that the result of this operation is preventing Iran from having nuclear weapon in the near future. And, you know, I've said it before, and I'm mentioning it again. We are the front of the free world in this world. We're not fighting only to defend Israel. We're fighting to defend Israel. We are fighting to defend the moderate country at the Middle East. And we're fighting for the stability of the world. And therefore, we are the front line of the free world. We're fighting the war for the US, for Canada, for Germany, for Britain, and even for France that are not really supporting us right now. And the citizens of Germany and the US could have a better life after this operation gonna end. We have to remember it. Going to our mission as FIDF, we have to remember that the war and the challenges that were in front of us as FIDF in Gaza and supporting the soldier and the reservist soldier are still running. And on top of that, we have two main challenges right now. First of all, the reservists that have been called back to defend the border of Israel at the north, in Judea and Samaria, in Gaza Strip and other places, and run the headquarters of the Air Force and the intelligence 24/7 in 120% capacity. That's one thing that we have to deal and support. And the other thing is the Home Front Command that been called to send his battalion to support the citizens of Israel. While the siren are heard in Israel and everybody hears this Teva Adom a lot in Israel, those battalions are running to find the places that get hit from friction of missiles or missiles himself and save the life of the citizens of Israel. Those brave men and women need our support as well. And the last thing that will have our support the near future is our medical effort. The meaning of distribution of hundreds of hospitalized patients all over Israel and the lack of ability of the city of Beersheba in the south to support the needs of the soldier, the fighting in Gaza right now, and the citizens of the south need the involvement of the Israeli Medical Corps, and that's what they're doing right now. I just finished a discussion with the commander of the Medical Corps before this brief, and we discussed the ability of the FIDF to support them, and the request, the package of support getting organized right now, and that's going to be a new request. So we're going to deal with the maintain support that we provide to the soldier all along the war, and the extra need that came with this operation in Iran when it comes to reservists, Home Front Command, and medical support. Steve?
Major General Padan, thank you very much. Major General, we have a number of questions for you. The first question is this. You mentioned that incredibly in the course of the past week, 70% of the launchers have been taken out. As well, obviously, as you mentioned on day one of the war, the number of nuclear physicists that were taken out. If this war goes on another 3 to 4 weeks, not that you can remove every single launcher and every single ballistic missile, but in theory, could we see the Israeli Air Force taking out 95% of the launchers, 90% of the ballistic missiles? What do you see if the Israeli Air Force is given another 2 to 3 weeks? Can they eliminate most of those weapons? That's question number one.
So I wish that's going to happen. It could happen. I don't know for certain that we will reach to those kind of number. We have to remember that Iran is a huge country, and they have a lot of silos, hiding places all over the mountain, which is quite complicated for the hunting operation of the Air Force. And I've mentioned that part of the missile, like the Sigil, have a solid fuel, so they don't have to do all the preparation that the other missile prevent. So they have more flexibility. They can very easily move from one place to another. That's a huge challenge. And both sides are learning. The Iranians are not stupid. They're learning as well. They're getting better and better. But generally speaking, every day we're reducing the amount of ballistic missiles and launcher. So yes, we can reach to those kind of number, but I cannot promise it for certain. Definitely the amount of launcher missile are reducing every day, and we can see it by the number of missiles that have been launched toward Israel on daily base. But yes, they'll start using the more sophisticated weapon like the Sigil and the Harmashah, Havyar, which have more sophisticated warhead, better accuracy, and better ability to deal with our defense system. They are not unstoppable, but it put a different kind of challenge. But again, when it comes to those kind of sophisticated missiles, they don't have hundreds of them. They have a few thousands of them. So here we believe that they, at the beginning of the war, they had like 50 of them, 40 of them, something like that. And with the Hamashar, even less. So I truly believe that every day we could see the Air Force effort to protect the civilians of Israel getting more and more results.
Second question is, the Iranians keep threatening they're going to shut down the Straits of Hormuz. Is their navy, is their ability to shut down international trade, is it significant, or is that something that can be eliminated, that we can prevent?
So it's significant. It's a real threat. I mean, we saw what this small organization, the Houthis, did to the same kind of challenge. So if the Iranian will try to block the Hormuz Strait or start fighting the naval path that cross Hormuz or cross the Saudi Arabia Peninsula, that's going to be a big deal. But at the other end, we have to remember that not like the Houthis, the Iranian are more exposed. They have a lot to lose. And Israel, with the support of the US and the coalition, when it comes to those kind of threats, could destroy the navy of Iran and create a huge damage. That's going to be a huge mistake. If the Iranian will do it, they will grab other country like Britain and France and Italy and European country to the war.
So from today, at least from your perspective, that probably won't happen because they have so much to lose. The next question we wanted to ask.
But Steve, I would say that, sorry for interrupting, when the supreme leader is that desperate, they can do desperate things. And when you do make desperate decisions, sometimes it's not really connect to reality, and it's more kind of taking the discussion to kind of theologic, spiritual discussion instead of dealing with realpolitik. And therefore, I would not take it out of the table. It's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. The next question is, could you share with us and explain to us, I'll give you an example. In Germany, there was a Gestapo, and in the Soviet Union, there was the secret police. What Iran has, what the regime has in terms of its own people, to prevent revolution, to prevent the people from trying to protest in the streets, overthrow the regime. Can you share with us the apparatus and what you perceive is happening on the ground in Iran?
So first of all, the Iranian very sophistically, very smartly created two armies. They have the Artesh, the regular army, which have all the components, all the services, the ground forces, the air force, navy, so on and so on. And parallel to that, they have equivalent army, the IRGC. They have also air force and navy. But on top of that, what they have in the IRGC is two other forces. One is the Quds forces, which have kind of special forces, and it's also responsible for operating and training all the proxies, like Hezbollah, like the Shia militia, like the Houthis, and so on and so on. And they also have the Basij. The Basij is kind of civilian militia that got weapons from the IRGC, and the part of the belief of the Shia radical regime, and they have no problem to shoot at the street. So although we're saying that the majority of the people of Iran are not supporting the regime, and more than 80% of the people are against this radical regime, we're still speaking when it comes to a country of over 80 million people. of 17, 16 million. They're supporting the regime. And with it, there is this besiege. The besiege, to your question, are more than a million people that spread all over the cities, and they can take weapon, AKs, and shoot at the street. We all saw what it did in 2022 to the student that tried to protest against the government. They killed over 3,000 students and people in the street. Nobody blinked about it in Europe or anywhere else. So the people in Iran are terrified from the Basil, from the IRGC forces that are loyal to the radical regime. And having said that, we also have to remember that the opposition in Iran doesn't have leadership. There is no leader, not even 2 or 3 leaders, different leaders that lead different group that could actually stand and provide substitution to the radical regime right now and create the trust for the people to follow them. The interview that we hear here and there from the son of the Shah doing nothing. Just have to remind everybody that the Shah wasn't that lovable in Iran. He was corrupted, and the people of Iran he pushed him out. The revolution in Iran came because of the hate to the Shah. So all those speaker from Europe and those former Iranian that speak on behalf of the older regime of the Shah are not acceptable, and they cannot lead the opposition in Iran. So when it comes to changing the leadership of Iran, it's a huge challenge. It will take time to create this subsidies leadership to this radical regime, and it's not going to happen in a day. We can create the collapse of the regime, and you can find them flying out of Iran and finding shelter in other places like Russia and the Persian Gulf country and Oman and other countries. But it doesn't mean that the day after we'll have a stability and different kind of leadership in Iran.
So, at least from where we see things today, the notion of the populace overthrowing the regime, we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it on the street. We're not seeing it. We're not hearing it to the degree that people would hope for. It's wishful thinking at this point.
So we can see different kind of discussion at the social media. We can see protests here and there, but as far as I understand things, and I have to be very careful here because I don't know everything, but as far as I monitor things, it didn't come to the level that could actually create a cut or a revolution in Iran. But having said that, you could see, on the other hand, that the regime in Iran is under a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. First of all, the fact that the supreme leader allowed the committee of the revolution regime to take all the responsibility means that he's scared for his life. They radically respond. They didn't went through the balance and the right filters to every declaration of the U.S. and Europe and Israel is also show kind of pressure. So you can learn that the regime is under a lot of pressure, and they humiliate by the IDF and by the Air Force. The fact that jets flying over their head every day and they cannot, freely go from one headquarters to another, it's a humiliation. I'm not offering to humiliate the Iranian people, but definitely this regime is not acceptable at the new world that we wish for ourselves and for all the Western countries.
Major General Padan, we want to thank you. And as General Padan just mentioned, the medical needs, the needs for what's called the Home Front Command, Bikud Oref, who are managing the nation right now, managing the country under these very difficult times, as well as the needs for the tens of thousands of reservists that we're being asked to fulfill, please go to FIDF.org, FIDF.org. And we will be back tomorrow with another briefing on the war. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.